Are you ready for the unexpected? Here we go. Number 1, plague burial teams. Imagine being paid to dig graves as corpses piled up faster than you could bury them. During ancient epidemics, this was not a nightmare, it was a profession. In Athens, one plague struck so hard that the living could not keep pace with the dead. Entire teams were formed to dig vast pits, gather bodies from the streets, and heave them into mass graves. The work was relentless, filthy, and terrifying. Every breath carried the stench of decay. Every glance showed neighbors, friends, and family collapsing in front of you. Under the burning sun, you lifted corpse after corpse, praying that you would not be the next. Mass burial trenches beneath ancient cities filled in haste. The job paid not in coin, but in scraps of food or a place to sleep. A grim reward for risking everything. And the risks were immense. With no knowledge of microbes, gravediggers became unknowing carriers, spreading the very plagues they fought to contain. Few lasted long. Those who survived carried scars far beyond the body. The memory of countless faces lowered into the earth, never to be forgotten. Number 2, urine collector and fullery worker. If you think modern dry cleaning smells bad, try collecting pee by the bucket. In Roman cities, public urinals were common. Entrepreneurs bought the urine. They sold it to fullers who cleaned and whitened wool. Urine contains ammonia. Ammonia is a natural cleaning agent when handled correctly. So a Roman fullery was a business model built on human urine. The collectors walked the streets or managed public latrines and then sold the load. The Emperor Vespasian even taxed the trade. His son objected, and Vespasian replied with the famous line, "Money does not smell." Beyond the moral gag factor, the job had real dangers. Workers have to toil for hours inside hot, humid containers filled with urine. Skin damage and infection were common. Fullers used urine and other chemicals plus vigorous foot stomping to full wool. The physical work was brutal. If that sounds like a job you could do for 24 hours, comment now and prove it. Number 3, mummy embalmer. The ancient Egyptian embalmer was truly a genius of the medieval era. Embalmers removed the brain through the nose with a metal hook. They cut open the belly and treated the organs. They packed natron salt into the body to dry it. They coated the corpse with resins and wrapped it in linen. Each of those steps used strong chemicals and prolonged close contact with decaying tissue. You breathed aromatic resins and potentially toxic fumes while handling fluid-soaked linens. Bones and bits of tissue were handled casually. Despite the ritual, embalmers were not immune to infection. Some embalmers left written recipes and manuals. Archaeologists have found embalmer caches with jars and tools near necropolises. The job required skill and secrecy. They were paid with gold, silver, land, or valuable goods. It paid well enough to support families, and it also required nerves of steel. Number 4, stone mover for megalithic projects. Move a 100-ton block with ropes and ramps. That was the daily work of many ancient quarry workers. From the pyramids of Giza to the temples of Baalbek, people cut-shaped and hauled stones that dwarf construction gear today. The labor was mostly human and animal power. In hot deserts, heat stroke and dehydration were constant threats. Food was often scarce and rest was minimal. A single mistake could injure dozens at once or kill outright. Workers endured endless blisters, infected wounds, and aching joints that never healed. Many died young, their bodies worn down by a lifetime of lifting. Ramps collapse, slings break, fingers get crushed. Quarrying also exposed workers to dust and silica, which ruined lungs over years. How long do you think you could last? A few days, or just a few hours? As for me, I doubt I'd make it past 30 minutes. Number 5, royal food taster and poison tester. In the palaces of the ancient world, a single meal could mean life or death. Some rulers employed professional food tasters, men and women whose duty was simple to describe but dreadful to endure. They ate what the monarch would eat to see if it was poisoned. For a few, this was a permanent post with steady pay. For others, especially slaves, it was a rotating punishment, a reminder that their lives were expendable. Either way, the risk never changed. Poison was a favorite weapon of intrigue. Ambitious heirs, jealous rivals, and hidden enemies used it to settle disputes without war. The food taster stood on the front line of this silent battlefield. Each dish was a question, each swallow a wager with death. The work demanded nerves of steel. A burning throat might mean chili pepper or the start of a fatal convulsion. Some poisons killed within minutes, twisting the body in agony. Others lingered for days, destroying the stomach and draining life slowly. Once the dose was inside, there was no antidote. Beyond the physical danger was the crushing weight of fear. Every banquet was a trial, every feast was a gamble. Sleep came with nightmares of unseen powders and tasteless liquids. Even survival carried no relief, because the next meal would come and the test would begin again. If you believe you could remain calm in such a role, comment below and tell us what your last words would be. Number 6. Ancient Smelter and Mine Worker. Mining and smelting may sound noble on plaques, but in reality, they were brutal, punishing trades. Ancient metal workers hacked ore from the earth and roasted rock in furnaces that belched smoke day and night. Lead and copper smelting filled the air with toxic fumes. The great mines of Spain and Anatolia powered the Roman world, but they also left their scars in human skeletons. High levels of lead etched deep into the bones. Chronic exposure meant trembling hands, fading minds, and endless sickness. Smelters toiled beside blazing furnaces, tending crucibles of molten metal. Every breath carried poison, every touch risked burns. There was no real protection, only bare skin against fire and smoke. Accidents were common and often fatal. A slip of the hand, a broken tool, or a collapsing tunnel could end dozens of lives in an instant. Even for those who survived, the price was steep. Endless hours underground dimmed eyesight. The roar of hammers destroyed hearing. Workers emerged from the shafts caked in soot. Their hands bleeding, their backs bent from hauling stone and ore. Their lungs filled with dust. Their bodies marked by burns, crushed bones, and the slow agony of poisoning. Number 7. Trireme Oarsman and Galley Slave. Row a warship at full speed for hours and then row some more. That's the life of the oarsmen on ancient Mediterranean war galleys. In some cities, these oarsmen were paid free citizens. In others, they were convicts or slaves chained to the benches. The physical demands were extreme. A trireme could have up to 24 oars per side. Synchronized strokes were essential for speed and maneuver. Rowers trained to exhaustion. On campaign, they faced storms, heat, and enemy attack. If captured, you might be sold into a new chain gang. Nutrition and rest were minimal during long voyages. Rowing places huge strain on the back, shoulders, and heart. The mortality rate on some campaigns was high. If you are proud of your gym routine, remember this was daily work under threat of death. You might last an hour. A day would be a miracle.